Iceberg videos are super important, so I'm going to talk about the most important iceberg of them all, the Dingo Pictures iceberg. Now, when I first thought about making this video, I thought I'd probably have to create this iceberg image myself, but nope, it already existed because, of course it did, I guess. This is an especially great iceberg for me to discuss as well, since I'm on it. Yeah, I'm apparently just that entrenched into Dingo Pictures at this point. So, these iceberg things go like this. The beginning tiers are the most common and known about facts, theories, or subjects that relate to the main topic of the iceberg. They get more obscure and strange the deeper you go down the iceberg. There's a couple of things on here I'm going to skip where I don't have much to say about them. So, in the beginning tier, the sky, we have stuff like me. Yeah, well, that's right. Phelan in the sky with diamonds.
The diamonds, my god!
Anyway, Yee is without a doubt the most well-known thing out of Dingo Pictures, as thanks to the Yee meme, plenty have seen this bit of Dingo Pictures brilliance without even knowing what Dingo Pictures is or what the movie it came from was.
Mamma e papà hanno un nuovo bebè, non se ne fanno più niente di te. Pig.
When your parents have a new kid, out you go on the dustbin lid. Pig!
Next we have Cadicarus, Saberspark, and Phelan Porteous. Sometimes known as Phelan James Porteous. Just kidding, I have no idea who the hell Phelan James Porteous is, cause that's not my name, but people sure do love to make stuff up. Anyway, Cadicarus, Saberspark, and myself are English-speaking YouTube-type people who've talked about Dingo Pictures. And now I'm talking about me being on the thing, cause I talked about the thing before. Thingception or something. Lulogio is a Spanish YouTuber that did the same thing that I and other English speakers did and talked about Dingo Pictures, but he did so in Spanish. Yes, it turns out that Dingo Pictures is silly in many languages. Felix Rensensier is a Swedish YouTuber that's also quite well known for their Dingo videos, so they should probably be on here as well. I mean, it makes sense if we're including YouTubers on pictures which are now being discussed on YouTube. Dingo-Pictures.de was the site for Dingo Pictures. It stayed up for a long while, well past the time that anyone from the admin side seemed to actually be bothering with it. I did try contacting them through it once years ago to see if you could actually still commission an animation from them, but I got no response. Midas Interactive and Phoenix Games were both budget title game publishers that were responsible for the most well-known releases of Dingo Pictures movies on PlayStation and PS2. They came with activities that barely qualify as video games attached to them, like coloring and puzzles. Both Midas Interactive and Phoenix Games were founded by Paul Scher, with Phoenix taking over the movie and cheap games distribution once it was created. Now, on to the actual tip of the iceberg, which contains the most important thing out of all of this Dingo nonsense: Waboo. Waboo is a rip-off Miko from Disney's Pocahontas, but became the mascot of sorts for Dingo. He has a white mask instead of a raccoon's typical black one, and seems to be an ageless being that uses his snap bracelet feet to bounce around through time. He also possibly possessed me once.
I am the Waboo!
There's also two different incarnations of him, one possibly being from the Black Lodge. Oh. But how do I know that you weren't the evil one?
Of course I'm the evil one. I just shot that other raccoon in cold blood.
East West Entertainment, the primary distributors of Dingo Pictures movies on DVD in North America, along with other cheap and public domain junk. Their website went down in 2012. These East-West DVDs often had covers that bared very little resemblance to how the movie actually looked. These more complex than the actual movie art covers were by Greek artist Michalis Venetoulias, who's also on this iceberg later, so that's who he is. Art Media was a distributor of Dingo Media in Germany, the Netherlands, and France. They, along with another French distributor, Fun Kids, share a lot of the same art assets for their DVD releases as East West. and I think it's quite possible there is some kind of connection with these three. Despite the fact that East West DVD was a US distributor, it's quite clear it has a connection back to Germany. One obvious clue is this way they wrote the date on their website, with it being day, month, year instead of month, day, year like is typically seen in the US. Also, the formatting of using dots to break up the numbers is a German thing. Parodies by Phelous! So far I've made 2 Dingo Pictures parodies, one on what it would have probably been like if Dingo had adapted Stupid Cabin Fever.
My God! An infected person! I need help!
And the other on the title that is probably the most shocking that Dingo never actually did themselves, Beauty and the Beast.
The Beast is fine. He gave me money for my daughter.
And really, Wabu, the Beast does have a lot of money, so I'm thinking about loving him.
She's as crazy as the old man.
Parodies by Schmorky. They also made 2 Dingo Pictures parodies of Titanic and Woody's Race. Instead of modifying Dingo assets like me, they drew crude versions of characters from Disney and other properties, much like Dingo themselves often did. The Dingo Pictures Wiki. This is a thing that exists now, and I love it. And it's also been very useful for making this video. There was barely any information about Dingo Pictures back when I started covering them, and now there's this crazy resource on the silly mockbuster company from Germany. The diamonds, my God! This is a line by King Magod in Lion and the King, and I guess I'm to blame for turning this one into much of a thing.
The diamonds, my God!
My God!
Now we're below the water surface. The Lion and the King and Dalmatians games were released several times with different titles. I've covered this quite a bit on my videos, but Midas and Phoenix, to probably try and trick consumers into thinking it was something different, re-released Lion and the King and the 2 Dalmatians movies a few times with different names, often making it look like there were more sequels. So, Lion and the King 1 and 2 on PlayStation, 3 on DS, and Son of the Lion King on PS2 were all the same movie. The first Dingo Dalmatians movie was released as Dalmatians on PlayStation by Midas. Then the second movie was released by Phoenix on PS1 as Dalmatians 2. Then again as 3 on PS2 and Dalmatians 4 on DS and Wii. Closure of the Dingo website. If you go to the site now, the majority of the content has been removed and you get the message, this page is closed indefinitely. My best guess is the Dingo site was being hosted along with something else, which is why the site was even still up at all. And because of Flash no longer being supported, which all the Dingo trailers on the site were being run through, it got back to someone connected with it and they decided just to remove all the content. Swearing on the English dubs. As I've documented a few times, these cartoons have language stronger than you'd expect at times for what you'd think the intended audience of the Dingo movies was.
What the hell is going on here?
That's basics.
Just wait till I catch you in the dark corner. You'll get the damn good beating.
Now, another related point that could be on this iceberg is Dingo censorship. Oh, but of course not for the cursing, but of the name Tarzan. Dingo renamed Tarzan to Lord for their English version of the movie, possibly after finding out that they weren't actually free and clear to use the name Tarzan. But they slipped up and still called him Tarzan a few times, but on the PlayStation port, they blanked the audio out during this.
Quick, Gina! Tarzan's crying! Quick, Gina! That's true. Tabo's right. Tarzan is protected by ghosts. That's true. Tabo's right.
Media Concept. This was the original company name of Dingo Pictures until sometime in 1995. By later in 1996, they were using the Dingo Pictures name. And I guess even less known than that, and could be on the Berg even lower, is their third name, Dingo Productions. They used this one very briefly before switching to Pictures. You can find the Dingo Productions name on the Toys Room, and even their most important title of all, Waboo. Boo. Junger was a VHS distributor for Dingo movies in Germany. Kind of interestingly though, a bunch of their tapes are labeled as being in NTSC format even though Germany is a PAL region. These VHSs are probably Dingo's first home video releases, though we know some of the earliest Dingo titles were produced with the company Louis.TV involved. Killer Tracks. A few of the background music tracks came from this company who produces production music. They are now known as Universal Production Music. English, French, and Dutch dubs by Art Media. This is a theory that the distributor, Art Media, is the one responsible for the dubs, which I dubbed the East-West dubs. Dub, dub, dub. That's right, East-West was misblamed thanks to no other than me! So now I'm being blamed for misblaming cause other people are blaming it on another distributor. Now, I'm not saying it isn't possible for Art Media to be behind the East-West dubs, but we don't know for sure who made these still.
That is what I want to be. Can you image India, China? Hey, look! What? Over there.
The line on the Dingo Wiki even says still that it's just possible it was done in-house by them. This is just like how it was a theory I threw out back when I reviewed the Waboo movie that East-West was responsible for these dubs' existence. All we know is that these extremely lazy dubs for Dingo, other cartoons, and even some live-action movies pop up on East-West, Fun Kids, and Art Media DVDs.
König Drosselbart. There was a king and he had a daughter. She was very beautiful, but so proud and haughty, she found that no man was good enough for her.
So one of, or all of, or a company involved with all three likely got these dubs done for dirt cheap or nothing by whoever they found that could somewhat pull off the dubs for these three languages. What we seemingly know about these dubs is that they were by Dutch people and very slapdash. They would leave in multiple takes, them breaking and reading directions.
With the four of them, they had so much fun making music that they couldn't stop anymore. They looked where the music came from. They looked where the music came from. Pooh, he said. I smell pooh. Yes. And
I'm going to the market, finally. Started
telling.
Also, another odd bit. The Art Media and East-West DVD cover for Hunchback of Notre Dame is ripping off the 90s Burbank version of the movie. And apparently, the Portuguese audio option on the Art Media DVD plays the audio for Burbank's cartoon instead of Dingo's. Next, we drop to the body of the iceberg with another dub theory. The English dub of Animal Soccer World was made by Phelous Games. This theory I'm sure spawned due to the fact that Animal Soccer World was the best known East-West dub out there first. Mainly because it's the one of these extra lazy dubs that was actually on PlayStation. It's also the only one of these lazy looped music track dubs that doesn't have the usual man and child from the other East-West dubs. I'm not sure I really think that Phelous themselves did the dub. It does seem like whoever put this dub together was from the same entity that did these other cheap dubs with the short looped music playing over almost the whole thing. My theory on why this one has different people is there probably was originally a dub of Animal Soccer World, either by the usual Dingo voices or the East-West dubs Man and Child, which was supposed to be on this German DVD. This is apparently one of Art Media's releases, but one without actually their name on it. I brought this DVD up in my Animal Soccer World review, and that it says it has an English track option, but it's missing. It was probably just an error that the English track got left off here, but this probably also led to them losing the original English dub. And then when they needed to sell the title on PS2 for Phelous's release, they realized it was gone and they couldn't get the original two people from the other East-West dubs back, so they just quickly made another dub with whoever was around. Dingo Pictures Cinematic Universe. This is a phrase I coined to talk about the Dingo movies and their shared characters. Deluxe Paint for Amiga computers. This was apparently the program used to create all of the digital art for Dingo Pictures movies. Lego Cart, an Italian Dingo Pictures DVD distributor. They are notable for releasing some of Dingo's rarer movies like Perseus and Siegfried. Edutainment for Kids is the company that people immediately forget based on the comments section of my Animal Soccer World video, as people kept blaming Dingo Pictures directly for the book. But no, it was the questionable company Edutainment for Kids responsible for these digital book adaptations of Dingo movies. We don't know if actual permission was granted for these or not, but Michael Duke Goldschmidt Sondergaard is one of the founders, and he was involved with the Scandinavian Dingo distributor Kids Only. Storybook movies. A lot of Dingo's earlier work wasn't full-on animation, but just video storybooks. There are even 2 versions of The Toys Room, or just Toys, whatever you want to call it, one done in Dingo's usual animation style and one done as a video storybook. RYM Musique Video. They are responsible for an alternate French dub of the Waboo movie that isn't complete garbage like the East-West one, and it has a new Waboo theme created for it.
Voici Waboo, le raton laveur, il est aux aguets pour faire des bêtises. Waboo est toujours prêt. Oh, oh, oh. Waboo, Waboo, ah oui, c'est le roi de l'aventure.
Sing mit Aladdin. This is a sing-along tape of the songs from Dingo's Aladdin. One of these songs was included on the De Koning de Tier VCD.
Teppich fliegen, das ist logisch, hochprozentig ökologisch.
Live-action narrators. 2 of Dingo's movies used live-action narrators instead of the usual animated ones.
The usual.
It was a couple of the regular German Dingo voices playing them. Georg Phelous was the narrator for the Bremen Town Musicians, and Waboo's German voice, Armin Drogat, played the live-action Merlin as the narrator in The Sword of Camelot. This leads me to another topic that could have been on this iceberg: alternate versions on DVDs. I mentioned in the Aladdin review that there are 2 versions of that movie, with Dingo at some point deciding to change certain shots for whatever reason. But even just on the East-West DVDs themselves, things weren't consistent, as one DVD of Aladdin apparently just cut the movie off before it was done, while another finished it properly. And for Sword of Camelot, one East-West DVD variant chops the live-action narrator out, while another left him intact.
Do you know who I am?
Yes, I know who you are. You are the Waboo. And also you were Nosferatu?
Nosferatu is the true power!
There's also another variant that seems to have screwed up the dub audio and left mostly just background noise and sound effects. Ludwig Ickert's Twitter page. Ludwig Ickert, founder of Dingo, was possibly on Twitter at some point, but only tweeted twice. In October 2010, he said, "Number 21." Then in December 2011, he said, "Myanmar." Even if this isn't our Ludwig Ickert, this is an odd Twitter. Armin Drogat's Last FM page. There is an auto-generated Last FM page for Armin Drogat. Moving on. Arishcha the Little Witch was self-distributed by Dingo Pictures. Well, I believe actually a lot of the Dingo titles were self-distributed by them at one point, as you could order movies off the Dingo site when it was actually active. These were probably all made on demand, and the notable thing is Aristia seems it was only distributed that way, which made it hard to find for a while. Radio plays. Some of the Dingo stories were released on audio formats, like I have the audio cassette for the Waboo movie.
Künstlerpech. Ja, aber sag mal, Charlie, hast du ein bisschen Zeit?
Tut mir leid, Wabu, aber ich muss nach Hause.
Und Wabu, der freche Waschbär, legte sich auf die Wiese und ließ sich die Sonne auf den Bauch scheinen.
You got that? CD-ROMs/PC games, you can experience the same crap as the PlayStation ports on your PC. Alternate English dub of Goldie. So, yeah, there are actually 2 English dubs of the Bambi ripoff movie Goldie. One is done by the usual Dingo dub crew, likely from Worldwide Voices, but a strange alternate English dub was found on a Russian DVD.
Has it already got a name? May we visit it? Just go, said the old tree.
What does it look like? Has it already got a name? Can we visit it? Just go on over, said the old tree.
But big shadows were falling on the grass. Murmel became very quiet. They were men. Men? Goldie shouted, horrified. Did they have guns? Did they kill my mother?
Huge shadows were falling onto the grass. Clover became very quiet. It was humans. Humans? Goldie shouted, horrified. Did they have guns? Did they kill my mother?
So, there could be some more Dingo titles out there with this type of dub still undiscovered, as you never know how deep the Dingo hole goes. De Koning de Tiere books written by Roswitha Haas. Roswitha Haas, writer, director, and producer on Dingo Pictures titles, created some book adaptations based on Dingo Pictures well before Edutainment for Kids. She made 3 books based on De Koning de Tiere. As there were only 2 Lion and the King movies made by Dingo, this means the 3rd story only appeared in her book form. Ne como ne! He said it.
Ne como ne!
Aldi product placement in the Dalmatians movies. I guess Dingo Pictures wanted to help out Aldi and included their name on a grocery bag in their Dalmatians movie. This is the only thing that kept the chain going. Russian PS1 bootlegs. Yeah, really. This is kind of a snake eating its own tail situation with this. The ripoffs got bootlegged. It's kind of insane to see the Midas logo stolen, as it's on both a player-style disc and just a regular old PlayStation one. You'll notice the other company on here, Kudos, decided to drop Midas on their Lion and the King release. It's almost like Midas Interactive wasn't a name worth trying to cash in on. And I, of course, love the fact that all these bootlegs just straight up use the art from the original titles that the Dingo movies were cashing in on. Speaking of bootleg, I feel like those Kimba the White Lion coloring and slide puzzles on the original Midas PSN release of Lion and the King could be on here somewhere too. Clearly, someone realized they shouldn't be doing that, as they changed the Kimba stuff to actual Lion and the King things for Lion and the King 2 released by Phoenix. Jörg Zaranesek is another one of the cover artists for Dingo movies. The German artist's artwork was usually a bit closer to what Dingo Pictures actually looked like, but still made things look much better. While usually East West and Art Media used the Michaelis Venantulius drawn covers, Jörg Zaranesek showed up on some too, like the Jamie/Janice one. Cartoon Kingdom and Kitty's Party Pack. These are 2 PS2 releases of the barely worth it games from the Dingo movies, but without even a movie on there. Disowned Films. A lot of their earlier catalog wasn't documented very well on the Dingo site, most of their video storybooks and Perseus. However, the main movie that seemed to be cast into the dark abyss was Jamie or Janice the Little Pig. Its DVD seemed quite hard to find, as I guess I was one of the first people to bother unearthing one. It's also notable that it did not get thrown onto a PlayStation disc like most of the Dingo movies from this era, probably due to this scene. I feel like there could be another entry this deep though on the iceberg for Dingo East-West DVDs that are still missing and would help provide some answers. As of now, the East-West DVD for Animal Soccer World, retitled Animal Soccer Championship, still hasn't been found. This DVD, more than likely, has the same East-West dub of the movie as the one that was on PS2, which would pretty much confirm that Phoenix was not responsible for the dub. But if by some chance it had an alternate English track, that would lead some more credence to that theory. And one of the biggest mysteries to me still is the Animal King DVD by East-West. I found the entry for this movie on the archive of East-West's site, and it would seem to be an English release for De Koning de Tier, aka Lion and the King Zero. Animal King is also very close to what the English version of the Dingo site named De Koning de Tier, King of the Animals. It's possible it's not though, it could even just be Lion and the King again, though I haven't seen East-West just rename the same movie like Midas/Phoenix did. I have, however, seen them reuse cover art. The Jamie/Janice one got reused for the Tales of Magic version of the Three Little Pigs. East-West Animal King DVD could also just be some other public domain crap. It's extra unfortunate that the cover picture on the Wayback Machine for this particular movie is broken, making it even more of a mystery. So, until this Animal King DVD is found and we finally find out what's actually on it, there's a chance that there is a lost De Koning de Tier English dub out there. And that's where an iceberg typically ends, but we've got to go deeper, so this is to go even further beyond! Welcome to the darker than dark abyss. Wabu created Dingo Pictures to troll us all. Wabu has become a self-aware entity, and with his mastery of time travel, went back and created Dingo Pictures to ensure his own creation. Why would he do this? Well, to screw with us all, as these movies were never meant to be and are from an alternate dimension. Wabu is a flying head that haunts you in a hallway, and every copy of Dingo movies are personalized. This might not make any sense at all in the slightest, but it's 1000% true. Wabu will haunt you. I am the Wabu. Iceberg videos are so stupid.